Okay. All right. So today I thought it would be really fun to just focus on the Libra new moon. And so, because of the new moon, we can really play with embodying the energy of Libra. So, last week we were just like mostly all on the ground laying down. Today we're going to stand up a little bit, but it's still going to be gentle. It's still going to be yin, but we're going to play with this idea of balance. We're going to play with this idea of like holding opposing energies at once, which I feel like is what Libra really teaches us, is like how to take these two opposites and allow space for both of them and like bring the same kind of loving, compassionate energy to the shadow that we do to the light. And I was thinking about like this morning Justice and like her sword and like her scales, and really how I feel this energy a lot in like the throat chakra as the way that we express ourselves, and the theme of like authenticity. Hey, sirs. And what authenticity really means, what it means to be connected to your truth. And it was hard for me to even like think about what that truly is, and like, is it possible to be fully authentic? Is it possible to stand in front of someone and be truly like 100% this like truth, and not manipulate ourselves in any kind of way, or not be concerned in any kind of way with what their perception of us is. And then I immediately thought, well, isn't that just the reversal of justice that I'm practicing right now, is going straight for like what that would be in its perfection? Because do we really have to be 100% of anything? You told me that last week, Mass, right? Like, you don't need to be 100% healed, or you don't need to be 100% perfect as you show up in this relationship. And Libra energy is so relational, and so like, and it's subjective. So what my truth is with you, or with work, or with whatever, might differ, and it's just like, how can we I know it's like mind-blowing, how can we show up in the closest expression where we don't fall into the traps of Libra energy. We don't fall into the people pleasing. We don't fall into the manipulation of self in order to fit into what we perceive as what someone else wants. How do we stand true in what feels actually right and resonant for us, instead of trying to either manipulate ourselves to fit in people pleasing, or manipulate their perception of us, which isn't quite people pleasing, but it's close. And then, just playing with the expression of balance and harmony, and how that is not static, how that is not something that we can just like be in perfect balance all of the time, how it's always this like teetering back and forth. Because how do we really even know where center is if we don't know what off center is? And so today, in movement, in embodiment, what I really want to explore is finding center through playing with opposites. And so we'll open the left side of the body, the right side of the body, the front of the body, and the back of the body. And we'll explore in our movements this teetering. And, sometimes I feel like in the beginning for me, it was just like always in extremes, life was black and white. It was this or that. And the in-between felt extremely way too vulnerable for me. To have and exist in a gray area of unknown or uncertainty, or where things weren't concrete or solid, was scary. And so I even see that like trauma brain reflected in this energy of like where we can feel really polarized because polarity feels safe to be in something static. And so now as I get older and kind of grow into my Libra rising energy, I can explore making those extremes like a little less and a little less. And I can actually explore finding more nuance, more gray area between black and white. And I don't have to go so far out to find my way back to center. So that's what I thought we would do. So we're gonna get over onto the mat. Since I can't see you at all times, if anything technological gets weird, just go ahead and shout me out, okay? Cool. Okay, so I have 2 blocks, a bolster, and a blanket. You could also use bed pillows, body pillows, some heavy towels, folded up blankets of any sort. Just be creative. We're not going to be too heavy on props today, but just whatever you need to support yourself. We're going to start with a variation of Nadi Shodhana Pranayama, which basically is just left and right nostril breathing. And it is a technique that is meant to balance and center us. So I'm going to sit up on a little block. Feel free to sit up on anything, pillow, blanket, to give your hips a little height. And if you don't feel like sitting up, just sit down on the floor. We're gonna rock. We're gonna move a bit in this from side to side. So just make sure that you're steady enough that you can do a little movement. Feel the right sitting bone, the left sitting bone. But to start, we're gonna try to anchor both sitting bones. So I like to pull my buttocks flesh out away from my sitting bones and really, really feel their connection to the support. I'm going to close my eyes. This is a visualization, so it's helpful to close the eyes so you can really tune into what you're seeing. We're going to start with visualizing what is called the Sushumna Nadi. This is the central cord. It runs right in front of the base of the spine. So from the crown, imagine it moving down through the middle of the brain, down through the roof of the mouth, through the center of the throat, and then down in front of the spine through the center of the body, in the chest, in the torso, in the belly, all the way down to the root chakra, right at the perineum. And you can visualize this channel as a white light. Let the eyes soften, the jaw relax. Notice if you feel stiff or really, really still. See if you can put a little bit of softness in the body. You don't need to be perfectly still for meditation. You can allow room for a little bit of movement, a little bit of breath. And just taking an inhale to welcome yourself into this practice today. I welcome you into this practice today to rest, to relax, to receive. Maybe there's an intention you have, you can bring that to mind. One more time, coming back to that central core, that white light. And we're going to keep that steady and still right where it is. And we're going to swing the body like a pendulum on either side of that white light. So we're going to start rocking from side to side. And just imagine or visualize that your body is moving to the left side of the light and to the right side of the light. And you're rocking onto your right sitting bone and then over onto your left sitting bone. As you rock to the right, imagine the right side of the body red. And as you rock to the left, imagine the left side of the body blue. Right side red, left side blue. Jaw is relaxed, tongue is soft, face is soft. And if the visualization doesn't feel super strong, that's okay. Just even say the words in your mind. Right side red, left side blue. Right side red, left side blue. So we are not looking for perfection here. We are not looking for absolutes. We are just playing with a visualization, a creative expression of this energy in whatever way it shows up for you. Some things we do today might feel really good, and some things not. It's all just an exploration. Right side red, left side blue. All right, we're gonna start to make our movements slower and smaller in a tiny little bits. So just make your rocking a little bit slower. And a little bit smaller. And then even a little bit smaller. And then we're getting to the point where we're just barely passing that white light. And then when you're ready and you feel called, you're gonna imagine just locking right back in, lining right back up with it. And then let that white light expand out to the right and out to the left. Expanding in the front of the body and the back of the body. Letting the whole body be filled by that white light. And let it expand beyond the skin, out into your auric field. And the whole right side, the whole left side, the whole front, the whole back, the crown, the soles of the feet. It's all filled with that white light. Soft eyes, jaw. Just letting a few breaths come in and out here. Welcoming yourself to arrive in this practice today, just as you are, no expectations. And here we are all together. Let's join hands, and I'm going to open the practice with one Om. Feel free to join me, breathing in. You can let the chin drop a little bit. Feel the back of the neck stretch. You can release the hands. And then when you're ready, lift the chin. Bring the shoulders up to shrug up, and then down, around, and back. And again, up, squeeze, and then release, down, around, and back. And then just go the other way. Back, squeeze up, forward and down, back, squeeze up, forward and down. Good. Let the arms shake out a little. Take an exhale through the mouth. Good. Okay, if you're on a prop, you can come off, and we're actually gonna stand today. So, just come up to standing. I'm gonna do feet hip distance. We're gonna play with our balance a bit, so this is nice. Actually, I have a little phone for time here, so you keep that nearby. Okay. Ooh, you know what else? I'm gonna plug in. Here we go. Okay. So once we're standing, feet about hip distance, we're just gonna play a little bit with our Tadasana. Tadasana is mountain pose, so, you know, mountains are strong, they're tall, they're still, but we're gonna move our mountain a little bit and just play with shifting the weight from left to right. And that's it. Just weight in the right foot, more weight in the left foot. Maybe you even want to go back to right side red, left side blue. If it feels good and playful. And then we're gonna do a little bit forward and back. So you're gonna shift the weight to the toes, and then shift the weight back to the heels, and just play with that too. All right, and then we're gonna come to a center or a balance. So spread out your toes, ground through the big toe mound, the baby toe mound, the inner heel and the outer heel. And then put a little bit of softness in your knees and imagine anchoring down through the soles of your feet to feel that rebound, that root to rise. Let the arms relax. The belly draws in, the shoulders relax, the jaw is soft, and just feel the hips stacked over the knees, the shoulders stacked over the hips, the head stacked over the heart. On an inhale, we're going to stretch the arms out, around, and up. And then on an exhale, we're going to take a side lean. Inhale up through center, and exhale side lean. So now we're just going to explore this movement for a couple rounds of breath, just stretching open left and right sides of the body. Opening left ribs, opening right ribs. Just playing with that half moon shape. Again, if you want to keep that visualization of left side blue, right side red, you can. And when I do these side stretches, I really like to press down through the foot as I reach up through the arm. But I do keep just a bit of softness in the knees. Good. Do one more on each side. And then make your way back to center. We're going to sweep the arms forward and up. And then we're going to take right arm back, twist the heart open and the hips, and then exhale, bring it forward, or down, around, and forward. Left arm twist open, let the hips follow, and then exhale, down, around, and forward. So now this is the vinyasa. Inhaling right arm back, exhaling down, around, and forward. Inhaling left arm back, exhaling down, around, and forward. Standing twist, standing vinyasa. Again, opening through left and right. Now chest, maybe hips. Maybe you twist the gaze as well. Let the neck stretch a bit, the shoulders, the upper back. Let's do one more on each side. And once you're back to center, reach the arms up. Open the front body a little bit. And then exhale, bend the knees deeply. Open the back body and fold over your legs. Knees are bent. Head is maybe shaking a little, yes, no. We're going to root to the feet, tuck the tail, roll it up to stand slow. Coming all the way back up into Tadasana. Once again, rock it side to side. Rock front to back. Find yourself in what feels like center, stable, knees a little bent. Let's walk the feet just a touch wider. We're going to play again with that left and right side like the meditation, but we're going to reach it up in opposite directions. So my left toes point as I reach my right arm up, and then I just shift it side to side. Reach and stretch in opposite directions. We're working with that pendulum-like swing. You might even lift the leg a little bit if that feels like something interesting. That pendulum-like swing, and just playing with the balance, right? Playing with rotating from left to right, reaching out in opposite directions, coming back through center, letting the body swing. Keep the jaw relaxed. As big or as small as you want to make it. Totally cool to stay with the toes, or you can really reach and stretch up and get some glute and outer hip work there. Good. As fast or as slow as you want to go. Let's do two more. Last one. Good. Find your way back into center. Hands on the hips this time. And now we're going to shift into the right foot and point the left toes. We're going to take the toe to the floor, foot to the ankle. So now we're starting to play with a little longer of a balance. Arms could come out at any time. You can stay at the ankle or you can bring up below the knee. And now start to play. You might wobble. And again, that's kind of the point, right? These are not meant to be static. If you want to go into full tree, you might pull that ankle up into the inner thigh. Feel the stabilizers kick in. Play with this balance now. Good. Soft eyes, soft jaw. One more breath. On the exhale, release it down. Shake out the legs. Rock side to side. No need to get in the head, right? We're embodying the energy. It's not about the intellect. So starting low, shifting the weight to the opposite leg, and maybe you play with crawling the foot up a little higher. It can really land anywhere you'd like, except the knee joint. We don't want to kick into the knee joint. And I'm drawing in towards the midline. So I'm drawing my foot into my leg. I'm drawing my leg into my foot. And then I'm also moving opposite directions, down and up. I'm drawing my foot down and my crown up. My knee's a bit soft, and I'm exploring how the weight shifts around from inner and outer foot, front and back. Soft jaw. Easy breath. One more inhale and exhale. Drawing up and down and in. And then when you're ready, you can let that go. Shake it out. Okay. Let's take an inhale, feet underneath the hips, sweep it up. Maybe you want to take a little bit of a lean back, chest open, front body open. Exhale, dive it down. Back body open, relax the head. We're gonna bend at the knees. We're gonna come all the way down to the ground. Any way that feels good to you. You can come to a seat or walk out. And then we're gonna start this exploration in a more relaxed way, laying on the back. So the first posture we're gonna do is that same half moon pose that we did standing, but we're just gonna do it lying down. So you'll come to lay down, and you can start with your heels lined up with the corners of your mat so that the feet are like a little bit wider than hip distance. And then you'll just lift the right foot to cross it over the left. So ankles crossed. This might already feel like a big stretch, but if you want a little more, you can lean the upper body towards the feet. Arms can come out to a T. They could be at a cactus. You can have elbows bent, hands resting on the body. And then you'll feel a stretch, a opening through the right side, the hip, the ribs. Let the eyes close, relax here for a couple of breaths. One more inhale. On the exhale, take the upper body back to center first, and then gather the belly in to open the legs back up. Shift in any way you need to. Wiggle around a bit to get comfortable. And then you might already feel a difference between the left and right side. Go ahead and cross left ankle over right. You might move the upper body as well. Do note that the shoulders and the hips are not always balanced, right? So we may hold a little more tension on one side. So you may adjust the arms or the legs as you need to, so that you can find ease. You don't want to feel, in yin stretches, you do want to feel a stretch, but not any pain or anything that makes you tense more. So the glutes can be soft right now. The shoulders can be relaxed. The brow is smooth. We call back to the breath as the anchor of the practice. And take one more breath here. And then go ahead and take the upper body back to center first. And then gather the belly to bring the legs back. And then we're going to walk the feet to the floor, one at a time. And then just windshield wiper the legs a bit. So both knees open up to the left and then to the right. And the feet are wide. Yeah, so we're internally rotating and externally rotating from the hip joint. Good. And then once you're in center, you can draw both knees into the chest. Just rock a little bit side to side. Okay. And then we're going to rock or roll to the side to come up to a seated posture. So we explored opening left and right sides. So now we're going to do a little exploration of opening front and back. So we're going to start with a forward bend, then we're going to move into a very gentle back bend. Forward bends in the yin practice are not the same as they are in like a hatha or a vinyasa practice. We're not trying to like reach out and go into this full extension. So I like to walk my feet a little wider and keep my knees just like a little bit bent. If you are tight, you might want to put a roll under your knees if you have any low back pain, or you can put a little blanket under your seat. Now, instead of this like waterfall forward. I am gonna try to still extend from the waist and shift my whole pelvis forward, but then it's just a letting go of the upper body. So as you can see, I'm not efforting for this deep stretch. I'm looking to open up the fascia in my upper back, my whole back really, the back of my neck. Now, if you are more flexible and you're kind of close, and you feel like you want a little support, you can stack some blocks or pillows to give the head support. But you don't need to. We're just gonna round forward. Notice if the shoulders creep up to the ears and try to relax them down. Let the jaw relax. You might open the mouth and move the jaw around a little bit. Again, use a little support under your seat or your knees if you have pain in the low back. We're gonna stay here for a couple of minutes. So time in the postures is held longer in the yin practice to allow for a little more release. We're turning into ourselves now, which is a really beautiful practice for the new moon and for the Mercury retrograde. Is this time of quiet and inward reflection. It doesn't always feel comfortable. At first. But the more we practice, the easier it becomes. We teach the body to rest. We come and we cultivate this safe space, this supportive space. And slowly, over time, the body learns and understands that it's safe to let go. And sometimes that's a mantra for my practice. An internal reminder to myself that I am here in a space of love and compassion. Not forcing anything. If you start to feel pain or discomfort, try to adjust a little, but see if you can stay in it. Maybe you just need to back out a little. I'm going to stay here for one more minute. slowly. Nice and easy. Gather your belly in and use your hands to just walk yourself back up to a Dandasana with the spine straight. Take a breath there. And then we're just going to take a gentle twist, first to the right. You can keep the legs outstretched or you can bend the right knee and turn towards your right leg. And then exhale, come back to center. And then you can turn to the left if you'd like. You can bring the left sole of the foot to the floor. Good, coming back through center. We're gonna do a counter posture, just a couple of breaths. We're gonna scoot the hips forward towards the heels and walk down onto the elbows. This is called hammock pose. So you're gonna picture that you can make a hammock with your spine. So the tailbone curls up a little bit, the feet anchor down, and then you might just let the shoulders round a bit here towards the ears. Not like super collapsed, but just enough so that you can feel a gentle stretch in the upper back. Just countering that pose, rooting down through the forearms, the hands, and the elbows. Jaw stays open and relaxed. Just take 2 breaths here. Okay. The next posture we're going into is a very gentle and supported back bend. So I'm gonna press myself up, and then I'm gonna locate support. So it's either gonna be a block under the sacrum, it could be a blanket, it could be a bolster, it could be a few stacked pillows. Anything that can elevate the hips a couple of inches. Yeah, that's perfect. Just fold that up, and then you can lay down. So we definitely want to lay down first, okay? So the head is down, the upper back is down. I'm gonna lift my hips and I'm gonna slide the block on the lowest height underneath my sacrum. I'm gonna feel my upper arms and my upper back supported on the ground. My feet hip width distance apart. And the back of my head, if I drew a plumb line straight down from my eyebrow center, that's where the back of my head would be supported. So the sacrum, I'm going to get out, you stay in, get some water. The sacrum is the triangular bone at the back of the pelvis. So your support, if it's a block, won't be on the low back. If it's a wider bolster or blanket, it might be. But it should also be on the sacrum, more weight on the sacrum, less on the glutes. Let the eyes close or the gaze just soften. Imagine you can soften the muscles behind the eyeballs, around the eyes, the squinting muscles, and smooth out the brow. So this posture just gently opens the front of the body. Just even a slight elevation in the hips puts us in a very gentle inversion. Inverted posture. Another way to find a different perspective. An especially nice way to open up and release some of the muscles that tighten when we're seated, as we might spend a lot of the day. With every exhale, just letting your body weight rest into your support. And for your last couple of breaths in this posture, if you would like to, just an invitation, you can accept or decline. If you would like to go a little further into exploration with balance, you could lift one leg or both legs to play with a supported shoulder stand posture. So just taking that balance into yet another shape. We can balance on our feet, on our hands, on our head, on our shoulders. There's lots of different ways to explore balance. And if you have the legs up, you can bring them down one at a time. Press into the feet to lift the hips and slowly slide the block out, or the blanket, or your bolster, whatever it is. Let your hips land on the ground. And the final posture is Shavasana. So you can stretch the legs out long and just go right in, or you can support yourself. I prefer a rolled up blanket or a bolster or perhaps a couple of pillows under the thighs, and then a pillow or a rolled folded blanket under the head. And you may want a blanket for over your body for just a little bit of weight. Let the hands relax either on the body or alongside you. Take a few long exhales here. And just letting the whole body, back body, rest into the earth. The back of the head, the upper back, the hips, the backs of the thighs, the heels. And you can make any adjustments at any point so you feel the weight of the body and how it meets the earth. Feel the face relax. The arms. The glutes and the outer hips. Give yourself full permission now to receive the support being offered. Invite the breath in. Rumi offers, do you think I know what I'm doing? That for one breath or half breath, I belong to myself? As much as a pen knows what it's writing, or the ball can guess where it's going next. Do not sit long with a sad friend. When you go to a garden, do you look at thorns or flowers? Spend more time with roses and jasmine. Inside the great mystery that is, we do not really own anything. What is this competition we feel then, before we go, one at a time, through the same gate? What is this competition we feel then, before we go, one at a time, through the same gate? I invite you to stay as long as you'd like. But if you'd like to end, this is the 1 hour point, so you can slowly come up. Thank you for joining me today in this yin and restorative practice, for giving yourself the gift of your own presence. When we extend that kind of support to ourselves, it really helps us be more supportive to the world around us. And I'm going to close with one Om, breathing in. Thank you all. New moon blessings. Namaste.